This week on Dumb Pitches, my guest is Annick Adelle, and we just give in to being tracked on our phones and how that might help you remember other people. Maybe you get a prompt on your phone. Maybe it says it across their forehead. It's actually not the worst idea once we really expand on it. It's a great episode. Here we go. Dumb Pitches.
What a bunch of dumb pitches. Oh my goodness.
Welcome to another episode of Dumb Pitches with Monica Nevi. I'm Monica Nevi, your host. This is the show where we talk to successful people about their worst ideas. I'm very excited for our guest this week. Welcome, Annick Adelle. Yay.
Oh, well, hi.
Hi.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here with such good lighting.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, we worked on it for like 20 minutes, right? Longer than the show is going to be. I love it.
It was worth it. It was worth it. No, I'm excited to hear. Yeah, very hilarious stand-up comedian. Exciting new. You have your album coming out August 12th. That's very soon, actually.
That's correct.
Yes, and you talk a lot about being between, in the middle of things, and the album is called Between Two Worlds, which you can pre-order now because this will be out a week before. So you can pre-order the album, then you'll have it right when it comes out.
There you go. Thank you. Thanks for plugging this. That's amazing.
Yes.
And when you pre-order it, I didn't know that. If you have Apple Music, you just click on it and you already have the album. It's just grayed out. And then August 12th, it just pops up and is all populated.
So simple.
Magic.
So simple. Yeah. And then we'll get it up number one. And you're in New York. Is that correct?
I'm in New York, Williamsburg. And yeah, it's way too warm, like everywhere else.
Yeah. Yes, we were having a heat wave. I was bragging that it's raining currently in Seattle. So
yeah, and we were all so jealous.
Yes. So
Oh God.
plenty of, you've had lots of good ideas. Everything's going well for you. This is great. But that's not what this show is about. We like to hear about your bad ideas. So when we sent you kind of the criteria of what we were looking for, what bad idea did you come up with?
So let's see how you like it. This might be a very personal thing,
Perfect.
but I don't know if you're anything like me, but everywhere I go, I struggle with remembering people's names.
Mhm.
Like I will see somebody, and be like, I think I have seen this face before. And then this face approaches me and goes, "Oh, hey, Annick," and they talk to you. Remember, blah. No, they don't say remember. They just say anything, and you're in your head, you're going, "Where have I seen this face before? Who is this?"
Right.
And obviously, you don't know. So I thought it would be so great if everybody just had like like an app, but like physical. I don't know how to do this, but I'm sure there's a way
Again, we're not
where
scientists here. We're ideas people, so that's up to somebody else to figure out.
there
So.
you go. It should be on the forehead, ideally, right? So that
Okay.
you can see it, and it has to glow in the dark or be, I don't know, digitally. And it has to be, maybe it translates onto your phone so that when you see the person approaching, you're going, "This is Monica from the radio station," and then you're like, "Monica, so good to see you."
Okay, so
I've, um,
does
go ahead.
is it showing something on their head, or is it just kind of like it's communicating with your phone? I guess
It sh
seems like a
it should
tracking device a little bit, but
it should be both for sure.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. So that in case you don't have your phone or your phone's dead or you have no reception,
Yes, that's true. Oh yeah, you're at a basement party. You still need to know
there you
who's who.
go. And it just should constantly, like when you watch TV and there's like this line going like baseball, the Knicks
Oh
played the
yeah, the
whatever,
little like
it should
ticker
just
thing at
be
the
like,
bottom. Yeah.
yeah, and just constantly information about you met this person 2.5 months ago.
Oh yeah, I like that. Okay. Oh, that's funny. I'm wondering if, like, okay, so it's got a little. This is the problem, is I get invested in the ideas. Like, I'm ready
Go
to
for
help
it.
already. If it was, because sometimes people will start to describe a person to me or an event, whatever. Oh, remember when we did this and this and this, and they'll get like 3 or 4 facts into it, and I'm like, I still have no idea what you're talking about. So if there was like a video. This is extensive, but like a little video of like, this is where you were when you met them, or this is, and especially because sometimes people look different depending on how long it's been since since you've seen them, right? So if it's like, oh, their hair was longer, or they lost weight or whatever, then they would show the picture of actually what they looked like in that scenario, which could be distracting. But
You're constantly looking on people's foreheads while they're talking. You're like, sorry, I didn't what? What did you say?
nobody's making
But
eye contact anymore.
it probably, well, it doesn't show though, because the eyes and the forehead is not that far away, is it?
That's true.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's true.
it's like teleprompters. You think they look at you, but they don't.
Right,
It's
it's
kind of like
right above or below
it
the
could
camera, like
it
me
could
here.
be probably, I mean, it could also be audio. So for people who don't want to read the
Oh
screen,
yeah, or who couldn't? Yeah,
maybe, or if you have the good old Google glasses, you just have them on and it just constantly gives you, but then you can't listen. So that's,
that's
yeah.
true. That's true.
Yeah, I like that idea. I had people literally come up to me day after I talked to them and be like, "Hey, Nick, how are you?" And I'm like, "Remind me again who you are."
Right.
And they're like, "We talked yesterday for hours on end in that bar." And I was like,
Well, that's the problem. I'm a drinker, so that does happen to me often, where you're like, I know we got along maybe, but couldn't tell you your name, or whatever you do for a living. I don't know. I forgot all those things. That's not.
"Do you remember faces though, or do you remember names, or do you remember like me? I remember none of it." But
There's no. I remember faces,
me
but I
too.
do not remember names anymore. I used to, but I think at this point, I've been in stand up for 12 years, so you meet so many people, and I feel bad now. I used to be better at it about the names, or because now, so I remember the face. Like you look at him, you go, "Oh, I definitely seen you before," but I do struggle to. Sorry, there's a really
To
loud
remember
noise above.
anything else.
That's thunder. There's thunder going off.
What?
Sorry, it scared Blake. So,
Oh.
but yeah, I'm good at I've seen this face before. Being quite able to be like, okay, let me remember where. Sometimes not, and it is a fun game sometimes. Like I'll be like, oh, that's where you were from. Like I get excited when I remember it. But
But
I never want people to know that I don't remember.
that's the thing. Do you fake it? Like
Oh
you just
yeah.
go, "Oh, I fake it all the time." I go, "Oh, hey, like last night I was standing in front of a comedy club here in New York. This guy comes up to me, "Hey, Nick, remember we did this mic?" Even he said, where
I
we
told you
met,
exactly
apparently.
where it was, and you were
And
like,
I was like, and in my head I'm going, "Dude, he just told you where you met him and you can't even remember that." So I can't for the life of me just be like, "Sorry, I don't remember you." I mean,
yeah.
that's
I
rude.
know. I feel like I should do that or something, but I just don't. I don't like it
I
when
know.
people don't remember me. I want to be memorable as well. So then you don't want other people to feel like that. I'm too nice. And then I'll just go with it for a while. And then I'm like, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Because if
Do you
he
feel
was like, oh, yeah, we did that open mic, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I
yeah,
remember, even though you don't.
yeah, and then but then if he asks you something that you should know on the basis of the information he gave you, like, "Are you going back to that mic? When is it again?" And you're like, "I don't know what
You're
mic
like,
he was
oh,
talking about."
yeah, right. I don't even remember that mic. Well, and I've had it before where people come up and like give me a whole story about that we spent together, and then they'll be like, oh, and you did that one joke about the furnace, and I'm like, I don't have a joke about. Oh, you don't even know you're mixing me up with somebody else, so I'm like pretending to pay attention. I've had that happen a few times.
Well,
Usually,
that's bad because then you're busted, right? Because
yeah.
you're like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Hey, that's joking. I don't have." Oh, wait. So how?
That's
So you
worse.
pretended you know me? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. I mixed you up, but I caught you. Ooh, that should actually be a fun game at a party. You just walk up to anybody and just like, "Hey, Monica," whoever that is, right? And then be like, "Remember we did the na na na," and then see if they go, "Yeah," and then be like, "You fake person.
Yeah,
I just made that all up."
you liar. I do that sometimes with movies. Like if somebody's
Oh.
like, "Oh, have you seen this movie?" I'll be like, "Yeah," even though I haven't, just because I like want them. Clearly, they're excited to talk about it. I think I'm codependent. Anyways, I they're like excited, and I'm like, "Yeah," and then they'll be like, "Well, what? Oh, and then this part, and then he said this," and I'm like, "Uh huh, yeah," and they like want me to finish it, and I'm like, "Nope, don't know, don't have any idea." I used to do that a lot. I don't do it anymore. because it has made me look stupid a few times.
Yeah.
But people
Do you
get
feel
disappointed.
resentful of people who know, like, do you know how there's these people who remember everything about people? And I'm not sure I like it because I do feel a little bit like, how do you even do this? I feel a
Yeah,
little, not resentful is the wrong word. Maybe it's jealousy. I don't know. But I'm also a little bit like, do you have to shove this in my face that you
right.
remember everything
Look
and
at
I
you
don't?
remembering shit. Yeah, I do. I don't know if it's resentment. I used to have a really good memory and I can feel it
Hmm.
going, you know? And so that I think bothers me more that it's like I should be able to remember that, but I don't. Um,
What made your brain work worse? Do you think it's social media or something?
that could have something to do with it, honestly. I'm sure it's a combination of um, not
Hmm.
sleeping enough, drinking,
Hmm.
and aging. I don't know.
That'll that'll
Um,
do it.
yeah. But social media, I'm sure, I think my retention of information has gone down because of social media. Like everything needs to be fast. And then
Yes.
I only remember, or there's you're getting so much information at one time that you kind of pick just little parts of it. So I'm not good at holding on to everything in a conversation anymore at all.
Get it. I hear you.
Well, it would be easier if there was a little helper, on their forehead or on your
Like I
phone.
said.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Just ticking
Yeah.
the information, like the stock market.
This is Monica. You know her from the radio station. Pretend that you know her. You
Yeah.
like her. Oh, that could be a feature too. You
Oh,
like her.
that's good because sometimes, you've had a whole conversation with someone and you've had a bad experience, or maybe you got in an argument or something. If you forget that, then you may just be setting yourself up for the same situation.
There you
That's
go.
good. It could have like a little, how they do the checks on social media. You
Green.
could be, yeah, green check for if you
Ooh.
liked them, red X or something if you
And if
don't.
somebody gets like a lot of green X's, they become, like Instagram famous.
Yeah, they
Mm,
get the verified check.
there you go.
Well, oh, this could be actually really helpful for people.
Predators.
Yes, that's not what I was thinking, but that is
Oh,
good. I wonder if, oh, maybe you could have like a review system too, where it's like, okay, so many people have red X to this person, like you might not want to talk to them, or you
people who like this person also
also
like
like,
this person.
oh, that's pretty
Oh
good. Oh my
God.
gosh. I was thinking for people that you maybe have slept with and it would like
Oh.
warn you not to be around or something, like your ex comes in or something and it's like, hey, it detects it. You gotta get out of here.
I like it. Or it's even linked to medical records, and then this person has chlamydia now. If it is one of your exes, because then you know already, because you're reading it on
You're like, oh,
screen.
this one. That's
Okay, maybe that's a little far, but hey,
well, this is, and
we're
now I'm thinking like, okay, so if it's on your forehead, clearly we've all opted into this. Like you're
yes.
aware that your information is on your forehead, so that's, yeah, I guess your choice. If you're like, I'll just put it out there that everyone
Mm.
knows, I'm enabling the medical information here.
Spread of information. By the way, I don't know why my every time I don't know how to not have emails come into your computer and not make a sound. I tried for an hour once and it didn't. Anyway, so
That could be
we're
another
gonna live with it, aren't we?
idea. I couldn't hear it, so that's good.
Okay, good.
Um, yeah, I mean, you always want to avoid. Do you do this? I guess, and I don't know your dating history, but if people invite you somewhere that someone you used to have a thing with or something it might be, you would make a decision whether you're going to go or not based on that person being there. Like I don't have a relationship with any of my exes and I don't want to. So if they're going to be there, I don't want to go. I don't need to be around them. Uh, do
Mm,
you have that experience and would this be helpful?
to know whether your exes are at the party you're going to or this venue you're going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a venue where there's a lot of people, I feel like you can almost dodge the bullet, and
Yeah,
even
that's
if they're
true.
there, you just go to somebody else.
The size of the
My
venue.
my nightmare is just seeing them on the street and just like, it's one on one, and you're
Uh,
like, what are you gonna do?
yeah,
What are you
do
gonna
you say
say?
anything or do you just keep walking?
That's a good question, girl. I mean, the last thing I had didn't end that well, I guess. And when I see her on the street, it's like lightning striking. You're like, oh, what am I
Yeah.
gonna do? And then I literally go away. I
She's like, hide.
go to the other side of the street, or whatever. Like I change sides. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Because I
I've had
don't want to, like, what you're gonna pretend you're gonna be like, "Hey, Asa, good to see you."
yeah.
No,
That is,
it's
well, then it's
weird.
just awkward. Yeah, and then what do you want to be like? Actually, it's not good to see you. I'm gonna walk away now. Like this is, I'll save
Yeah,
us
and you can't
both
be
the
rude. You don't want to be rude either.
right.
You don't want to be like looking away because she clearly is gonna see that you just saw her. It's
That happened one time when I was.
really.
I've never run into an ex, but I was with my best friend and her now husband, and then she had an ex that was like, they were together for a long time, and it was pretty, tumultuous and a bad ending and that type of thing, right? They hadn't
Mm.
seen each other in a long time, and we're in this mall, which actually they like lived in condos nearby, and so my best friend and her husband are walking here, and I'm here, and then the ex boyfriend and his new girlfriend are walking this way, right? And they both did the same thing, which was not wanting their partners, I think, to realize it was the other person. And so he just stared like straight forward walking. And
Mm-mm,
then she like turned
mm-mm.
this way. And then she very quickly turned around to me and was like, like, because I saw it was him, And I was friends with him before, so I could have easily been like, hey, what's up? And like ruined everything. That would have been terribly awkward. But none of us were like, we know we should not stop and talk right now because it would be horrifically awkward. So even me knowing them was just like, like,
But
not.
that's hilarious. He's just gonna stare.
He just stared straight for it, and he
Like
looked like he saw a ghost. Like it was just like,
that's like a kid, who's just gonna close their eyes and go, nobody can see me now.
yeah,
It's amazing.
it's God now. Which is funny because I expected. I'm sure her husband like knew they got together maybe like a year after they had broken up, so it was still, I'm sure he's seen a picture of him or something,
Pictures.
yeah. and
Yeah.
and he didn't notice and then also didn't bring it up
Oh.
like when we got into the apartment, so I don't know if he really didn't realize it was him because like he had a beard too or something. I don't know, but it was
Mm.
like everyone just was on the same page immediately. I don't think the girlfriend knew who she was either though, so then everyone was just like, we're just
It did it. Yeah, I mean, the screen idea could definitely be, advanced, and then you get, like this Amber Alert type of thing where you're like, dude, access in your vicinity, and you're like, oh,
yeah.
okay, and then you just go somewhere else. That
And
could
it's
be a
funny because
feature.
people get so upset about being tracked, like the idea of like somebody tracking. It's like they're tracking you anyways, and it's on your
Girl, we're
phone.
all tracked.
Yeah,
Stop.
so might as well use
This
it.
conversation is probably recorded by everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Um, the you might as well, utilize the fact that you're already being tracked to
There you go.
make your life less awkward.
Or be like, I know you're tracking me. At least follow me on Instagram now. You know what I mean?
All right, there you go. Just start. I've thought about that, just like airdropping people pictures or like your schedule or something when you're in the.
That's
You just start
genius. And then
airdropping
be like,
phones or on a
oops,
plane or something. Like just
sorry.
start airdropping your information. We
No,
were.
no, no. Airdrop a picture and then be like, oh, sorry, this is the wrong person. But now that I have you, here's my Instagram.
That is funny. Yeah, we were in like a Lyft or an Uber one time, and I think my friend thought the driver was um, attractive, and so he was like, "What if I just airdrop her my number or something?" I was like, "Oh,
Well, she has his number if it was a lift,
that's true."
doesn't she?
I was like, "If she didn't text you back already, no." But yeah, you could just. I think about it on planes. Because I'm like usually, changing my Bluetooth speakers or something. You're changing the Bluetooth, and so the AirDrop
Mm.
comes up, and I'm like, oh, you could just AirDrop people stuff while you're on the
I'm
plane.
totally gonna do this. Well, as a comedian, that's also a huge question sometimes to me too. Like you come off stage and people are like, "Oh, I love what you did," da, da, da. And then that's it. That's the extent of the conversation.
Right.
You don't want to go and follow me on Instagram. But
Well, and then
it's
you
not
gotta
it's not
like,
even about following. It's more like I like maybe I like this person, or they were nice, or and then that's it. That's the end of the interaction. That's kind of sad, I
Yeah, I mean,
guess.
it is obviously it's easier now to find people, but it is
Sure.
a lot of like they have to do the work, and like the percentage of people who come up to you after a show or even just seem like they're having a good time versus the amount of people who actually do the work to go and find you online or whatever, it isn't equal. Like there's
No.
definitely like
Yeah.
oh, I already forgot.
Yeah.
So if
Well,
they had an easy way to oh, that's your handle or whatever or follow you, we just put a QR code on your forehead. I don't know, but it's
on that screen.
yeah, exactly.
Well, the other thing is that, when you do stand up, then a lot of times, you know how the host will mumble your name or even get it wrong,
Yeah.
Nick Adela, whatever. Anyway, and
Yeah.
you're like, great, okay.
Oh yeah.
And then you do your set, and by the end of your set, obviously everybody has forgotten your name. So they,
Yes.
even if they like it, it's not necessarily, a given that they can actually look you up because,
I'm
oh, I didn't
usually just called the girl. Like that's like, oh, I
really.
liked the girl that was on the show, and I'm like, I'm
Oh,
a
because you're
lady,
just one
first of all.
person?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I'm the only woman on the show, so they're like, I liked the girl, which is, but yeah. So then you have to. That's part of the whatever the business crap part of this, which thank you for supporting. But of the selling merch and the after shows and creating the QR codes and stuff where it's like here if you liked me here do something about it that's helpful, sign up for my email list, which is stuff that I do, but it's just so much work that it's like if you were just in the vicinity and it popped up on their phone or something, that would be
I
far
like
more
it.
helpful. Yeah.
I like it.
Just start airdropping your then we'll start with that, see how it goes because that exists. We'll start airdropping our information to
There you
people
go.
and see
I'll
if we
actually
can get our followers up or whatever.
love
And
it.
then we'll go with more of a not permanent, but
I feel like our dumb
physical.
idea turned into not so bad
I
idea.
know this is good teamwork. I feel good about it.
See, comedians are good.
Good, good at other things. Well, great. Okay, so speaking of stand up and all these fantastic ideas and the internet, where can people find you if they want to follow
Oh,
you and come and see you and those types of things?
yeah, sure. I mean, it's dumb, but I think Instagram is probably the best way to find me because I post my shows there. I post funny videos. Oh, do you hate it? I hate it.
I do
I
hate
hate
it.
it.
It's
I hate it and I love it. I have this love-hate relationship about it because I feel like, some of my jokes I actually think should be because they showcase what I'm about
yeah,
and I like them and let's say the video is good and the audio is good and you're like, oh, I like it. So that's cool. But then sometimes you're like, oh, I guess I should post more and then you're like, oh, but I don't wanna and so it's a love-hate relationship, but yeah, Instagram definitely is the way my album link is there and
yeah. There you go.
stories and shit,
I
stuff like
do
that. So
hate that part of it. And you're right, is like you'll feel great about a video and you're like, okay, this one's gonna be great. You put it up and it's like, well, okay. Everyone's like, yeah, that's fine. And then you feel pressure to put something stupid up and you're like, well, this is dumb. And then everyone's like, this is the best thing ever. And you're like, I cannot figure out what you people want from me.
yeah, I stopped caring. I just put up what I think is funny.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah.
good. I think that's a
And then
great
I make fun
strategy.
of doing videos, and that gets me out of, feeling
I watched one of those
self-conscious.
earlier
You
today.
did?
Yeah, on your profile. I thought that was pretty
Because
funny. But I
how
like,
people do sketches, and you're like, oh, this is so dumb, and then you're like, oh, maybe I should do a sketch, and then you're like,
yes, I saw
I
that one.
can't do a
You
sketch,
should
and
do
then I
Instagram
made a
sketches.
sketch about a sketch anyway.
It's fun. Well, and then like everything is videos right now in the trending social media world. Like even if you post a photo, it just doesn't do very well compared to videos. So I just did a reel of me in front of the picture I had posted that no one liked and was like, this is why I like it. This is me. Get it? I'm like, it's silly because of this. And like that got, 7,000 views or something, which
We're
is dumb,
so
but whatever.
Well, that's the thing. Like, even when I learned how to cut my videos because I am a techie at heart a little bit. So I actually like getting into it.
Hmm.
Part of me is like, oh, but I'm a stand-up comedian, so I just want to do my art. But then
Right.
also I'm like, oh, but I kind of like, figuring out tech. So
Yeah, I can
anyway,
diversify.
but that same idea when I cut videos, now I go like I have these like cuts in between because you know that people's attention span is just very, very
Very short right
short,
now. Yes.
mine included.
Yeah.
I get bored so easily. I'm like, oh, is this over yet? I can't. Anyway.
Which honestly is a perfect way to end this show.
Oh,
Just kidding.
wait, we didn't pitch a good pitch. Did we pitch? Did you want me to pitch a good
Do you
pitch?
have
No.
a good pitch that you
I
want to
do,
share?
but you're gonna have to sign an NDA. No, but
Don't want anybody to steal it.
well, I think it. I feel like, we should use new technology to have people invest in you. That's what I'm thinking of right
Okay, and
now.
how would you do that?
Well, there's a couple of ideas. Obviously, you can put stuff on OpenSea as an NFT, right? And
Okay,
just
yeah.
sell it like the Bored Ape, but video for stand-up or something. And the other thing is that, some people invest in you by buying tokens of you and stuff like that. So I'm thinking about something, and I'm sure it's going to be genius.
Well, that's perfect. I think, okay, so if we follow you, then when this has been thought about more, then they can support and invest in you. That's what I think.
Obviously, I patent this idea. Nobody can copy this. No, I'm kidding.
That's true. That's great.
Okay.
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 Well, okay. Let's one more time. We'll remind your album comes out August 12th, and it is
Yes.
called Between Two Worlds.
Yes.
And you can pre-order it now and do it on Apple Music. Seems like the easiest way. Then it'll just pop up on your phone when it's ready.
There you go.
Heck yeah.
And my Instagram handle is probably on the links, right?
Yes, and it's
Okay.
just your name, right? Annick
Yeah.
Adelle. Yeah, we have
Yeah.
it on here on the video. It'll be right
Okay.
under you, but I'll put it in the
Oh, that's
the
right.
notes and stuff for the
Thank.
podcast, for the audio part.
Thank.
You guys know what's going on. But you can,
Perfect.
and of course, you can always like and subscribe here on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Music or wherever, Apple Podcasts, whatever you do. Rate, review, all those things, very helpful for us. We also have YouTube memberships, which is you get behind the scenes videos and extra things of mine for a small fee. But thank you so much for doing it. And everyone at home right now, you can just keep watching Dumb Pitches.
You're weird.
Yes.